While the world is sleeping, the big silver market around the world is breaking apart at its heart. Silver just made a crazy comeback to $82 per ounce after it dropped 48% and took away billions of dollars from regular people's money. But under those price lines on the charts, something way more scary is happening. There's a huge gap between the silver you see on your screen that you think you own and the real silver bars that are actually sitting in vaults. And before we get into more details, here's a quick note to the people who have been following me for a long time. The system is full of fake computer voices now. There's junk everywhere. But if you've been listening to me since the start, you know it's me talking. You know my way of speaking. You know I always stick to the real numbers. Copycats can't fake this style. They tried to shut me down. My old channel got attacked, reported for no reason, and deleted without any mercy. But you can't kill the truth. We're back now. You don't have to believe anything I say. Actually, I want you to stay doubtful, but you can't argue with the math facts I put in the links in the pinned comment down below. Go check them yourself. Now pay close attention, because this isn't just a guess about the future. It's a math fact that can't be stopped anymore. Now I want to hear from everyone. Where in the world are you watching this money system fall apart? Are you sitting in London drinking tea calmly while the vaults are empty? Are you hitting refresh like crazy on your phone in New York? Tell me in the comments. I want to know where the smart people are keeping their money safe. Let's look inside how this whole thing works. To see why one choice keeps you safe and the other one crashes you, we have to check the legal rules behind it. Most people see the silver price on a screen and think SLV and PSLV are basically the same thing, just different names. That's the big mistake. That's the error that wipes out normal investors' savings. We're going to look very closely at the official papers of the biggest silver trust out there. Pay attention to the small details that people only read when it's too late. In the official report to the government group called the Securities and Exchange Commission, in section 4.3, there's a rule that should scare you. It says the trust can hold unallocated silver. In normal words, unallocated sounds harmless. It sounds like just some temporary way of counting. But in the world of big money, unallocated means one clear thing. It means you don't really own the silver. It means you're just someone the bank owes money to, but without any strong promise. Who's the bank holding it? JP Chase? When you buy SLV shares, you think BlackRock goes out, buys real silver bars, puts them in a London vault, and marks them as yours. That's how the allocated way works. That's what you believe you're getting. But because of the unallocated rule, when lots of people want to buy, like last week when $3 billion came in one day, the bank doesn't have to get real silver right away. Instead, JP Morgan gives a bank promise, like an IOU note, saying, we owe this much silver to the trust. Then the trust gives you new shares, but those shares are backed by a debt on the bank's books, not by actual silver bars stacked up. You're trading your real money for a different kind of paper while thinking you have a real thing. Let's check the numbers for February 2026. When the price fell to $63 and then shot back up to $82, a ton of money poured into SLV. Regular people saw the low price and bought a lot. But where did the silver come from? Refineries are backed up for 6 months. The official silver ready at COMEX is at all-time lows. There wasn't enough real silver. So how did the trust grow? It grew with unallocated debt. Looking at the daily lists of bars, the unallocated part jumped from 3% to almost 25% in just 4 days. That's about 145 million ounces of silver that only exist on computers. That's 145 million ounces of fake silver. Why is this a big deal? It's because of something called counterparty risk. In a real emergency, when there's hardly any physical silver left, the person with an unallocated claim is at the very back of the line. Big companies that use silver, like solar panel makers, electric car companies, and defense contractors, have strong contracts with big punishments if they don't get it. They get the silver first. People with allocated silver get it next. Unallocated people like you just get cash back in money that's losing value fast. Now let's compare that to how PSLV, the Sprott Physical Silver Trust, works. This one runs on totally different rules. Their official paper has one super strict rule. They don't make new shares until real silver is delivered and sitting safe in the Royal Canadian Mint. If people send $1 billion to PSLV tomorrow, but the trust can't find real silver bars to buy, guess what happens? Nothing. They don't make new shares. They don't make paper promises. The shares that exist just start trading higher than the value of the silver inside. The price goes up because you can't make more shares without more real metal. That higher price is the honest signal. It's the market yelling that paper is everywhere, but real silver is hard to find. When SLV trades at normal price or even lower, while PSLV trades way higher, the market is saying one of them is messed up. Let's look closer at how you can get your silver back. This is like the escape door when things go bad. For SLV, only special big players called authorized participants can get real silver. Those are huge banks and trading companies. They can only do it in huge blocks of 50,000 shares. Right now, that means at least about 4 million. If you're a regular person with $50,000 or even $500,000, you're stuck. You can't call and ask for your silver. You have no right to the real metal. Your only way out is selling the shares to someone else. But if the market crashes or the trust stops redemptions because of an emergency, you're selling into nothing. You're like someone on a sinking ship who can't reach the lifeboats. PSLV has a different escape. The minimum is still big, usually 10,000 ounces, about $800,000. But any shareholder who has that much can ask for real silver. It's not just for banks or insiders. If you have the money, you can take delivery. That keeps everything fair. It ties the paper price to what's really there. But the scariest number is the leverage. We look at all the open bets on COMEX futures and compare it to the real silver ready to deliver. This morning it's 356 to 1. Imagine 1 ounce of real silver on a table. Now imagine 356 people around it, each with a legal paper saying they own that exact ounce. When time runs out and delivery day comes, 355 get cash or get nothing. Only one gets the silver. SLV puts you in that crowd of 356. PSLV, because it requires full real silver, puts you as the one who actually has it. This isn't a small detail. It's the difference between keeping your money safe and losing it all. In 2026, with countries in the East taking all the real silver and the West playing with paper bets, the unallocated trap is the biggest danger in what you own. We're seeing a huge shift of risk. Big banks are going from betting against silver to owning real silver, while they fill regular people's accounts with unallocated paper. They're selling you the promise while they keep the real thing. It's an old trick, but bigger than ever before. The gap is getting bigger every hour. Physical silver coins at local shops now have 50% extra cost, while the screen price stays behind. That difference is the sign the paper market is dying. To see how serious this is, look at how the Western money system has been falling apart since the big crash in 2008. Back then, silver dropped with everything, then jumped to $50 in 2011. That was just a warning shake. This is the real quake. In 2011, hedge funds and regular gamblers were pushing the price. They were easy to scare off by raising costs or bad news stories. In 2026, the ones taking the real silver are whole countries, central banks, the BRICS group. You can't force China's bank to sell. You can't make India dump it. You can't scare Russia with a rule change in New York. We're seeing a huge change in world power. For 50 years, silver price was set in London and New York. It was a paper game by Western banks. But the real metal is moving east. Look at numbers from Shanghai Gold Exchange. For the past 18 months, silver there costs 10 to 15% more than in London. In a normal market, people would buy cheap in London and sell high in Shanghai to fix that. But the gap keeps growing. Why? Because the silver isn't leaving China. China makes over 80% of the world's solar panels. They know silver is key for new energy. They're not buying to make quick money on price. They're buying to control future industries. In January 2026, China quietly stopped exporting refined silver bars. They called silver a critical strategic material, like rare earths. Think what that means. The biggest user of silver for factories just locked its doors. Silver goes in, but doesn't come out. At the same time, India bought 4,000 tons in 2024 and 5,000 tons in 2025. That's almost a third of all silver made each year going to one country. The West plays musical chairs with paper, while the East takes away the real bars. The London vaults and LBMA warehouses that support SLV and COMEX are losing silver fast. We check the numbers every day. Since 2021, the silver ready for delivery in COMEX vaults dropped over 70%. We're down to almost nothing. The remaining bars are often locked in loans or held by people who won't sell cheap. The gap we talked about comes from this East-West difference. The West sees silver as something to trade for money. The East sees it as something to keep for power. When paper price fell from $122 to $63 last month, it was Western banks trying hard to scare weak buyers. They wanted to hit stop losses. They wanted regular people to sell SLV so they could cover their own bets. But the East didn't sell. They bought more. Every time paper price gets smashed, real silver leaves COMEX and ships to Asia. This is a slow bank run on world silver supply. And unlike money, you can't just print more silver. You have to mine it. And that leads to the biggest issue, the mines and the huge factory need that can't stop. Mines are old. Quality is dropping. Demand keeps growing fast. We're not just low on vault silver, we're running out of time to mine more. Let's switch from world politics to real science facts. This is where the paper system falling apart becomes certain. You can print dollars, you can print yen, you can print digital shares, but you can't print silver from the periodic table. Silver is the best at carrying electricity. It's the shiniest. It handles heat better than copper. In our tech world, silver isn't just money. It's a key part of everything modern. And the scary truth for 2026 is factory demand for silver can't bend. Price doesn't stop the buyers. Think about it. If you're making top solar panels like the new TOPCon and HJT types taking over this year, silver paste is a must. You can't replace it. Copper goes bad. Gold costs too much. You need silver. If price jumps from $80 to $200, do solar makers stop? No. Silver is only a small part of the panel cost, but without it, the panel fails. They pay whatever. We see this now with AI data centers growing fast. Every AI question or server task uses electricity through silver-coated parts. The big AI build in North America and Europe created huge new demand that wasn't there 5 years ago. We think AI alone uses over 50 million ounces a year now. That's 50 million ounces that used to go to coins and bars, now gone forever in servers, plus electric cars. An EV uses up to 3 times more silver than a regular car. Every sensor, camera, and battery system needs silver. The Silver Institute, which is usually careful, says there's a 200 million ounce shortage in 2026. Our info says it's closer to 350 million. That's a gap supply can't fix. And where does the market look for silver? It's draining LBMA and COMEX. Now let's look at what's really happening. Forget charts for a second. Look at actual shops. I called 5 big silver dealers today, 3 in US, 2 in Singapore. Same answer everywhere, sold out. If you want a 1 ounce silver eagle coin now, you're not paying $82 spot. You're paying almost $50 extra. That makes real silver $132 an ounce. Think about that difference. Paper says $82, real world says $130. That's 60% apart. The market is broken. Big 1,000 ounce bars that SLV says it has, gone. Dealers say 6 to 8 weeks wait. One told me quietly, no new bars from Swiss refiners in over a month. Why? Refiners skip regular dealers. They ship straight to big companies. Samsung, Tesla, Lockheed Martin. These giants are panic buying to lock in supply for 5 years. They're emptying everything. Regular people with paper on apps get nothing. This is the factory cliff. Above ground silver stockpiles from the last 100 years are basically used up. We're using every new ounce right away. Mines aren't speeding up. You can't just make more. New mines take 10 years from finding to producing. Supply is stuck. Demand grows fast. Mix this factory need with the money panic we talked about earlier, and you get a huge storm. You get a massive price jump. That's why unallocated in SLV is so risky. When Apple needs silver for iPhone 17, they get it. When US military needs it for missiles, they get it. They come first. You with a digital promise don't. You're in the way of big buyers rushing. The big ones aren't just buying. They're taking silver out of the money system forever. They're keeping it. Dealer windows are empty. COMEX vaults sound hollow. Your screen price is fake. The only real thing is silver you can hold. If you don't have it now, you might never. The window is shutting. Factory demand is pulling everything. Once real supply is gone, paper market doesn't crash, it disappears, no buyers. This is the final stage. All the info, unallocated in section 4.3, East taking silver, factory demand that won't stop, points to one big moment. We're heading to a market break where screen price and real silver price split forever. Don't let the up and down prices trick you. $82 is fake. It's set by computers trading paper with no plan to give real metal. So what comes next? As someone who studies risks, I look at chances, not wishes. We see 3 possible paths for the next 6 months of 2026. Get ready for all. Scenario A, the liquidity trap. This is most likely soon. As real shortages get worse, SLV and other unallocated ones will get tons of requests they can't fill. They won't say they default. They'll use special rules to stop redemptions. When that happens, SLV share price breaks away from silver price. It trades lower than the silver value inside. We saw this with Grayscale Bitcoin in 2022. Shares dropped 50% below value. Picture silver at $100, but your SLV stuck at $70 because no one wants a stuck asset. You're trapped in a fire with no way out. You watch others make money while yours is frozen. Scenario B, the emergency cash payout. This is worse. If COMEX says emergency because no metal for contracts, they pay everyone cash at last price. They say no silver, here's dollars instead. You get money back. But by then, real street price for silver has doubled or tripled. You get paid in weakening money at a low price. Your buying power gets taken. This happened to nickel on London Exchange in 2022. Trades canceled. Billions lost to save the short side. They could do it again. Scenario C, The real breakout. This is when it all breaks open. Big users like Tesla, Samsung, solar companies skip COMEX and buy straight from mines. They pay 20%, 30%, 50% over paper price to get it. Paper market doesn't matter anymore. Spot price is fake. Real price comes from private deals. If you have real silver or fully allocated like PSLV that can get metal, your stuff jumps in value fast to show true shortness. We could see $82 to $200 in 1 week. So what's the move? How do you get through this? First, no liquidity cuts both ways. SLV is easy to trade normally, but worthless in crisis. PSLV is harder now, but safer when things break. If you're holding SLV long term, you're betting against your own safety. You're hoping JP Morgan puts you before their big clients. Bad bet. Move to real silver if you can. If not, move to fully allocated. Don't stay in the middle with unallocated. Last warning on premiums. Physical premiums will go up. Don't let that stop you. Premium is insurance cost. It's the price to escape the fake system. When paper fails, premium is the real price. I put together all the vault info, daily numbers in and out, and legal parts we talked about. It has the list of special redeemers and past times things got suspended. Don't trust just me. Trust real metal weight. Trust how rare it is. Most of all, trust they can print endless money but not 1 ounce of silver. The window is closing. The paper game is over. Make sure you're on the winning side of this shift. Stay safe.